What's going on, everyone? Have you thought about upgrading your Radrover e-bike? Well, I took it to a whole nother level. I'm not sure if you've been watching my channel or not, but we started with the 2018 Radrover, and I've been on an endless mission to upgrade this bike beyond recognition, and I think we're pretty close. I am out on the maiden voyage on the Citizen 3.0 version of the bike, and it's pretty insane. It's got a lot of power. So we're not gonna get too crazy. This is the first time I've ridden it since we've added the motor in the front, the geared hub motor in the front. So I'm lightly testing. We're gonna go real easy the first few times, because the last time I was out on this thing, I broke the front wheel off. So yeah, the front wheel flew off. Luckily, I was not going fast. I was basically at a stop, and I did a hard pull from a stop, and it just like exploded on me. Let me show you what I'm on so you can see really quick the insanity that we're driving at the moment. There it is, Citizen 3.0. I've got some minor odds and ends to finish up on this bike, some decals come in and just little things to button up and make it look as good as I want it to look. But we've got now a geared hub motor in the front wheel, had that laced in by my local bike shop. So we've got a 750 watt Bafang geared hub motor there, and the same thing in the back, both running a 35 amp controller and also both running a 52 volt battery. This thing's an animal. This is what I've been waiting for, and I have cobbled this thing together with all kinds of different bits and pieces from different companies. You know, some of it's aftermarket parts, some of it's rad parts, some of it's from side rushers and B-cools, and just you name it. And there's parts from everywhere on this bike. So double batteries, double motors, double screens, double throttles. Look at the double screen. Isn't that cool? We got dual headlights. Both headlights run off the bike. So it's got like this bug-eyed look on it. It's really cool looking. And yeah, we're just we're testing, because if you thought about upgrading your bike, I mean, I don't know how you go any further than this, really, because then you're just building basically a motorcycle. I'm gonna, of course, I'll do a complete explanation of this build in another video. I just kind of wanted to show you guys the first ride, just in case something crazy happens, you know, like I break the wheel off again or something, you can see it. But I will, you know, I'll do a whole complete explanation of how everything is set up, because there's some things I really want to point out about how I've got this all-wheel drive bike set up. You can buy all-wheel drive bikes. They exist, but not like mine. There's no, I mean, the pull uphill is crazy. There's no bikes that exist like this. This is one of a kind, and that's what I love about it. This is my bike. I remember when I first did the controller upgrade, and I was like, what do I do next? And people kept commenting, add a motor to the front, add a motor on the front wheel. And I kept saying, no, I don't know how to do that. It's too complicated. And then I did it. I added that e-bike link kit, and it snowballed from there. Yeah, you guys did this to me. You made me this way. By asking me to do all these upgrades, you created the monster in me, and I've now created this monster, which is pretty insane. Let me do a hard pull here for you. So I've done like 2 of these, so I'm trying to be cautious. All right, here we go. I'm gonna hit both throttles off the line. Whoa. I mean, 0 to 25 in no time flat. We're just cruising along, and then we come to a short, steep little hill. And let's say we just want to cruise up it with no pedaling. We just hit the throttles. And she pulls hard. Accelerates uphill with force. But I'm gonna do a couple separate videos on this. I'm gonna do one where I just tell you like how I built it and explain it and give you the parts list. I'll give you the parts list. I do not recommend anyone does this. I know a lot of you followed my footsteps and added, you know, the e-bike link direct drive motor on the front. And that works really well. I mean, if you did that or you think about doing it, it actually works pretty well. But I wanted to get a little bit different look, because this is a smaller motor. And I wanted to kind of clean up the look of this thing. I'm trying to make it look better. I tried to make it lighter. Believe it or not, I shed about 8 pounds off this bike since it was last in its 2.0 version. So we're a lot lighter now, and it looks better, I think. And that's really what I was going for. But it feels great. I mean, it feels better. It feels smooth. Watch the wheel fly off on me right now, but it feels good. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it feels like a bicycle, you know? It doesn't feel like some awkward, weird thing. It just feels like I'm riding a nice bike. It's got crazy power, crazy power. So like I said, I'll do a video that explains how it's constructed. I'll give you the parts list. I'll probably do another video too that just explains. I really want to show you guys the differences between a store-bought all-wheel drive and the all-wheel drive that I basically manufactured from scratch, because there's some important characteristics, like the double throttles and being able to program the wheels differently, and there's all kinds of little stuff like that that you don't think of, which is actually really, really convenient. And I like the way this is set up. People constantly message me and say, link the throttles and link the batteries and tie everything together, and I don't want to do that. There's far too many benefits the way I have it set up, and I don't want to link everything. Another thing I corrected too was the speedometer. It used to just read zeros when I coast. You can see I've got that corrected. They both read the same mile per hour. So that was a setting. It was a P2 setting, I think it was. P2. You set it to either 5 or 6. Just try them both. If your speedometer's reading 0 when you coast, or if your speedometer's reading like 49 miles an hour when you're throttling, just change it to either 5 or 6, and it probably will correct it. It's a little pro tip for you there on that LCD 8H programming. Now I'll show you one other thing on this too, real quick. I don't want to make this video too long, but just wanted to show you the status update, and that is the battery situation, because this is another cool little thing I found. So I used to have my 17.5 amp hour battery pack on the rear rack, and I think that was making the wobble in the front. I think it was throwing the weight distribution off. So I had this big heavy 9-pound battery back here on the rack, and I had the rad battery in here inside the frame. I had 2 massive batteries, right? So now I've changed that. I put the 17.5 amp hour battery pack inside the frame, and inside the rear pack I have a miniature battery that runs the front wheel. So this little tiny, right here, 8 amp hour battery pack. Pretty cool, right? I'll put the links where I got that. But that's what runs the front wheel. That little tiny battery hiding in there. I still got room for my stuff in the rear pack. And I mean, yeah, that's only 8 amp hours, but total on this bike, I still have over 25 amp hours. That's like, I think, over 1,300 watt hours of battery pack. So I have no shortage of battery power. All right, maybe I'll buzz out here and do another run or two. I am completely geared up, if anyone is wondering. I got a helmet on, I got my Kevlar lined gloves, and I've got my motorcycle jacket and boots. So I was more prepared for this ride, and I have extra wide handlebars. I don't know if you noticed that. I like wide handlebars. These are like almost, I think they're 30 inches wide. All right, here we go. Let's hit it. The wheel spin's actually less. 0 to 30 is nothing. The wheel spin, I think, has decreased, even though I have a more powerful motor. Oh, that's just because I have them programmed differently. Another benefit there of the separate systems. But there you go. You want to upgrade your rad? This is the way to do it, man. This is the way to do it. I am a big fan of people customizing their bikes to make them their own and make them function like they want them to work. This is like perfect for me. It's a custom build to my specifications. Everything I want on this bike is on this bike. I like to see when you guys customize. People email me pictures of their bikes all the time, showing me how they've customized it. That's great. I hope that maybe I was part of the reason that inspired you to do that. And as I'm coasting, do you see my screen go to 0? Maybe I didn't fix that. That's the first time I've seen that. Let's try it up here. Coast. No, it's working. Still working. Yeah, there's a little finicky, I guess. Whatever. I'm looking at the screen more for battery life and the power. I haven't even checked to see what the watt output on these motors is. The watt meter's really small and hard to see, but we got a little uphill here. Let me hit it and read it. All right, here we go. So 14, 15, 16, 14. So the front was reading like in the 14s, the back was reading in the 16s. It's probably just how I have them programmed. But what do you guys think? Did we accomplish our task of making a monster? The Mistress, the Citizen 3.0. Another final look at it. If you are curious to hear more about this and see the parts list and all the reasons I think this is better than a store-bought one, store-bought all-wheel drive, then do me a favor, click subscribe, ring the bell, then you'll know when I put out new videos. I'll probably put out a video in the next week or so just kind of detailing this project for you once I get all the other little knick-knack odds and ends things buttoned up on this bike nice and neat. So I really appreciate all of you guys and gals and everyone watching and egging me on to do this stuff. It's been so much fun doing it. So I appreciate everyone that comments and shares and likes. And if you know somebody that's got a rad and they're upgrading it, you know, just turn them onto my channel so they know where to go and find some interesting ideas and parts perhaps. So I think that's all for today. And I'm glad that the wheel stayed on. It made it longer. I've been out for like 20 minutes. Made it longer than the last time. Last time was about 10 minutes and the wheel flew off. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching. I forgot there's one thing that I need to do left. I don't have hydraulic brakes yet. These are cable brakes and they're awful.